some heels, yeah. Bitch, I'm really having never late on my bills, yeah. And I'm having goon nigga play, he get spilled, yeah. Play, he get spilled, we can tell that he not real, yeah.
Let's get to it. Shmurda back, man, with another reaction. Because has Bobby Shmurda already fallen off, man?
What's popping out? Bobby Shmurda has been out of prison for, what, a month now? It's likely been a little bit longer than a month, actually. I think he was released sometime around Valentine's Day, but I'm not going to go ahead and look it up. The point is that he's been out for a little while, and not many people knew about the terms of his release or what kind of probation he was going to have since he's out on parole now. And these terms seem like it's really going to test Bobby Shmurda's mental fortitude and discipline to see how much he's changed. Because old Bobby Shmurda would not have been able to last a week on this. Bobby Shmurda's got to keep his nose clean now that he's out on parole. And though he's already back to living that rap star life, he can't drink alcohol, hang out at bars, or with gangs.
Damn.
Shmurda's under
tough,
parole
boy.
supervision until February 23rd, 2026. And there are some special conditions
They on his ass, bro.
like an 8 p.m. curfew. According to docs obtained by TMZ, he also has to submit to substance abuse testing.
Bro, 8 p.m. curfew, nigga, what?
The easy part for him is that he's got to seek, obtain, and maintain employment. Done, done, and done. As we reported, he already had a few performances in Atlanta during NBA All-Star Weekend. And right after his release from prison, Bobby boarded a private jet with Quavo to hit a studio. Then not hanging out with gangs makes perfect sense. Being a part of a gang or a criminal organization is exactly what got Bobby Shmurda into this mess where he was locked up in the first place. But the question here is, how is that going to affect his rap career? Because a ton of rappers are gang members, or at the very least gang affiliated.
Facts.
And how's the parole officer going to decide which are and which are not? Is it just based on the image that some of these rappers portray in their music? If so, that's going to severely limit Bobby Shmurda's ability to collaborate with many rappers that are currently hot in the game.
Damn.
Nearly all of them are affiliated at the very least.
Facts.
Pretty sure this would be a standard parole term for anybody with his charges, though, and that also brings the drinking alcohol portion of this, which seems standard as well. I mean, he's already been away from alcohol for so long, he's just going to continue that habit that's already been built over the past 7 years. But the rule which I'm looking at and saying this is going to be difficult is the 8 p.m. curfew.
Facts.
If you're a rapper,
What the
which
hell?
is the employment part that he was able to get knocked down already, then the shows that you're going to be doing are almost all after 8 p.m., if not 10 p.m., not to mention just recording music. The majority of these rappers be in the studio late at night until early morning.
What the hell?
Meanwhile, Bobby Shmurda gotta live like a regular human being's circadian rhythm now, which is great from a health standpoint, but maybe not so great career-wise. The 8 p.m. curfew is likely there to make sure that someone who had Bobby's charges and sentence doesn't get active again with the gangs, because a lot of stuff happens at night, and that's where situations, at least the majority of the time, tend to go left. What's funny to me is that I saw a ton of people commenting on this topic and saying that, oh, he might as well be locked up with these terms.
Facts.
That's where I gotta raise an eyebrow like The Rock and just look at them weird. There's no way that being locked up is anywhere near comparable to this. Also, a minor issue might be being near bars, since there are usually bars at a lot of these venues where rappers perform. But people gotta be trolling when they say being locked up is anywhere near similar to this. I personally think that if Bobby Shmurda is following all the guidelines of his parole, which he's been doing an excellent job of thus far, then his parole officer would ease up on some of the restrictions if they're work-related. For instance, if he's in the studio working on music and says that he has a session with whoever, and he would have to stay until 10 p.m. or so, it would only be reasonable for the PO to allow that. Same with performing where there are bars. It's just a part of his job. Sort of how some rappers that come onto parole after they get released, they can't travel, but they're allowed to travel when it's work related, if they have a show or something. I think this just comes in when he's doing these things outside of work. However, the length of this parole is what I look at and say, damn.
Yeah, that shit is long, bro.
2026. If he has to stay with these terms for 5 years, that's going to be really hard. And some have made a decent argument that this is setting him up to fail. But let's look at it this way. Bobby Shmurda was part of a criminal organization that wasn't just selling drugs and, making a little money here and there. They were killing people. I mean, we're talking murder, attempted murder charges,
I ain't know all that.
assault charges, and many other violent crimes. His homies were out here getting sentenced to 45 years, 50 years, and more. Bobby was facing anywhere from 8 to 25 years himself, so he's lucky to even be free and have another shot at life before being an old man. Not to mention another shot at a career. So I don't agree with the whole victim narrative that people are using with Bobby Shmurda, and that this is too much for him. One thing that I really wonder, which circles back to the title, is whether or not Bobby Shmurda has already fell off. The day after he was released, he gained 2 million followers on Instagram, which is an insane amount. But he didn't really seem to capitalize on being released in the same way that 6ix9ine planned and capitalized on it. And to be fair, I've even been critical that 6ix9ine didn't even optimize how he could have capitalized. He should have released his album during his first ever Instagram live session. I think a lot of Bobby Shmurda's hype has died down.
That's
since
fact.
He
Should have
was
did
locked
that
up
for real.
Nearly 7 years. That's institutionalized type of time to be locked up. 6ix9ine was locked up in protection. Was what, maybe 18 months maximum? I'm not going to act like being locked up for any amount of time is easy, but I'm sure we can all agree that 18 months and 7 years is a massive difference. Most rappers we see go in and come out are doing less than a year, and on the high end, which was either Gucci Mane or Lil Boosie, that was about 3 years. So I think Bobby Shmurda really did want to spend time with family and get readjusted to normal life.
Facts.
But I also think he might be worried if he's still got it musically. And not to mention, people move fast on topics. Bobby won't do the numbers he would have done within a week of being released if he were to release music today. And it progressively gets worse and worse the more you wait.
Yep.
But musically, the closest situation we can compare is Rowdy Rebel. And I wish I could come out here and say that Rowdy Rebel's music is trash. It would really help hammer in the point I'm trying to make. But it's not trash. I wouldn't say he's good by any means, but his music is run-of-the-mill. It's not bad, it's not good either.
Niggas swear.
That's almost 10 million views on YouTube now.
He's talking about some not bad, not good either.
It was a surprising collaboration to say the least, in which Nav absolutely killed his verse on that. That's not something you hear me say very often. I see Bobby Shmurda taking a slightly more popular career path. There will be many eyes on his first song, and that will be the eye-opening moment for most of the people on the hype train. If the song sucks, they're going to look at it like, oh shoot, this music is ass, and looks like it was dug out of a capsule from, or sounds like it was dug out of a capsule from 2014.
I'm dummy weak.
And probably not check him out again.
Damn, bro. I hope that don't happen, bro.
But then there's rap fans who will continue to check stuff out. But I personally believe that this idea of Bobby Shmurda becoming some sort of superstar is out of the question. Especially if he's not signing a deal, and that might be why he's taken so long to drop music. He might be taking offers and negotiating right now. Because with a big feature, I can see the majority of playlists pushing his music heavy. But even with playlisting, if the song is trash and doesn't resonate, people just won't check it out again.
Facts. Make sure y'all tell me what y'all think, man. Comments, man. Follow my IG, man. Hit like, but hit sub, but man. I'm out, man. Okay.